2 lifelong friends, 1 local establishment. The hidden truth is out there, and we're going to talk about it. What happens in the bar no longer stays in the bar. This is Conspiracy Theorists.
And welcome to another episode, or the latest episode of Conspiracy Theorists. You can see, yet again, we're in studio, which probably is where we're going to be from now on, because everybody that watches, and of course I get a text right when we start. Everyone seems to think it sounds much better from the studio than doing it in our local watering hole. So we'll just keep doing it here.
All right.
Plus we can do video here, and everybody wants to look at Brian. How you doing, Brian?
I'm all right.
And today we didn't really have a specific topic, because last time, after the last podcast, we just kind of sat here and talked, and Brian had made a comment after, say, half hour or so. He goes, we should be recording all this. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to have a chat, and hopefully it comes out as an entertaining little podcast. So what's been going on?
A whole lot of stuff. I know last week, Wednesday, I think it was when Trump came on. So he was at some Whirlpool thing talking to people about stuff, and he says he lowered the price of some pharmaceuticals. So he said that I have a lot of rich people coming after me right now, so you might not see me for a while. Well, you remember the 10 days of darkness I was talking about fucking
right
last year sometime? People are thinking that's coming up soon because of that. And he's like, this is the only chance we have to do this. And then he brought up the people coming after him.
Totally not where I thought you were going to go. I thought you were going to bring up the shooting outside of the White House.
Oh, yeah, same thing. I mean, I think that was the next couple of days after that the shooting happened. I mean, that was nothing, though, really, was it?
Some nutbag.
Probably some.
That right there proves there's nutbags in the world, because who the hell thinks they're going to get even inside the fence of the White House, much less to the president to shoot him?
Do you remember that airplane that crashed a while ago in the White House? I think it was Obama's White House. But there was a Cessna that crashed in.
They didn't crash. They
landed.
Shot it down, didn't they?
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know it was crashed in their fucking yard.
Might have been in the no-fly zone or whatever. But yeah,
that's nuts. Like Evander Holyfield Tyson when that fucking glider came down in the thing. they all beat the shit out of him.
What
good old days.
Yeah, nobody's going to get near. Since Reagan got shot, they're not going to. You might see it in movies, but you're not going to see it in real life, because they got like miles. And like when Trump was in Flint, I was like either right after he got elected or right before the election, they had cops. Since I drive around Flint every day for work, they had cops
on top of
10 miles away on Hill Road.
Wow.
That were just sitting there. It's like, really?
What are they gonna do?
Yeah, I was like, what are you gonna see some random car drive by? Oh,
there he is.
He's gonna go after Trump. We got. Yeah. I think he was president at the time, but I can't remember. But
I remember Clinton going by on a train one time on North Road in Fenton. They supposedly it was Clinton, but he was sitting on the back of the train, and they had fucking helicopters and everything flying around. It wasn't him.
Was a Clinton imitator?
Yeah, it was Clinton Dix.
Well, that's one conspiracy that'll come up for the sports fans this year. Is fantasy football is going to take a bath, because
oh my gosh,
nobody's
crazy.
I mean, you don't even know if there's going to be a season or not. So
now I heard that the Big Ten's not playing, right?
The Big Ten, Pac-10. In the MAC, that doesn't count.
But the ACC is.
Sorry to all you CMU listeners. But so far, the ACC, the Big 12, and the SEC are like, no, we're going to play.
Wow, it's crazy. Crazy world.
And I know you have differing opinions than I about COVID.
Oh, yeah. And actually, this girl I'm going to meet later, she's a nurse, and she's all against the masks and everything.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
But there is a lot of people talking about it.
About the masks? Or
about everything, just all the bullshit going on, obviously.
So on your date night, are you going to discuss
I'm not wearing a mask.
Well, I didn't. I mean,
sure
where's your date? Are you going to like dinner or something?
Yeah.
What if you have to wear a mask in the restaurant?
That would suck to have to try to eat.
Well, you can take it out to eat.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to have some fucking little sign on the door. But, you know, what do you do?
You have a mask in the car just in case.
I don't need $1,000 fine for
that's
bullshit.
That's one thing I got to do, clean out my old car. Because I have like 6,000 masks in there.
No kidding.
Yeah, because I get done with work every day. It's like, shit, I don't need this.
There's a COVID fucking drained mask.
Yeah, I haven't got COVID from all that COVID that's sitting on those used masks in my car. So I don't know. We're on different sides of that. So we've covered it on this podcast. So we won't.
You still against, or you still think it's giant like it is?
I don't know. I think it might be getting better. But I also think.
What do you think about the hydroxychloroquine?
See, there's differing opinions on it. So
there's a shit ton of nurses and shit that came out with that or something too, saying how it works. And they just blocked it because Trump came out and said it worked at one time.
Yeah, but why would they do that?
Because they're fucking crooked, dude. They want to start everything against Trump. I think. That's what I think. It's just amazing. Anything.
I mean, my only comment to you about that is this is worldwide. It's not just Trump.
Right.
So.
Which is crazy because there's different cabals. I mean, there's cabals all the way throughout the world that are on the same team that want a one world order and all that. And then Putin comes out and says they got a vaccine.
See, I think that dude's just a nutbag. So it's like all of a sudden, boom. Yeah, we got one and we're producing it. And everyone's like, whoa, you do? Where'd that come from?
Right.
So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah. And it'd be nice to get it over with.
Yeah, I agree. Because I'm getting tired of wearing masks.
It is. It sucks.
I mean, you said at work that we were supposed to wear masks, and you haven't exactly seen a lot of people wearing them.
Well, they don't wear them unless they got to walk around.
Oh,
close to people.
You didn't tell me that part.
Oh, sorry.
Nobody said anything.
Like if you're leaving your station, you got to put a fucking mask on. That's lame.
Well, I had mine down on my chin Thursday when I was there, and nobody said anything to me. So I'm like, okay.
Probably thought they'd get their ass whipped.
Might have Barnett with me or something.
Stap.
No, one thing I wanted to talk about is I told you off air that we've been talking, or I've been watching a lot of UFO conspiracy videos lately. And one thing really that I think fits for this show is a presidential thing about UFOs, and a lot that people probably don't know. Most people know that Jimmy Carter had a sighting when he was running for governor in the late 60s. A lot of people know that Reagan had a sighting when he was the governor in the 70s.
Oh, really?
And then there's the case of, we talked about Roswell a few episodes ago, and people say that Truman's the one that started all the dark government cover up for UFOs and stuff like that, like Majestic and stuff like that. And then there's a theory that in the 50s, when Eisenhower was president, he was on vacation in California and he disappeared for a few hours. And there's a theory that he met aliens and they made a deal to exchange technology. Well, actually, the theory that they were saying on this show was the aliens will give the US or the world technology. In exchange, the aliens could abduct
right. Yeah.
people. So
And he's like, hell yeah,
but
go ahead.
the weirdest thing that I never knew this till I watched this, and I actually looked it up to see if this is true. When during the Revolutionary War, and I'm having a mental block right now, when Washington and the troops were Valley Forge, when they were sealed in for wintertime, Washington got, and they were at the time, the U.S. was getting their ass handed to them by Britain, and Washington was depressed about it. So he went for a walk with his personal bodyguard, and allegedly this orb UFO came down in front of Washington and started showing him pictures of giant cities, meaning
like future,
like, keep fighting, this is what you're gonna become. So
wow.
But there was one little video clip that I wanted to play, which I thought the Washington thing was weird.
They start shooting lasers at the Britons and shit. What the fuck?
Like, all of a sudden we just come out of Valley Forge with all these laser weapons and stuff. So, but
8 foot tall
one
grays.
thing that I think sort of lends a little bit of credence was something that Reagan said in a UN speech in, I think, 87 or 88, but we'll see if this split screen thing works. And
where he says if there was, there'd be a world peace or world against the aliens if there was ever a threat from.
Right. It's
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
Yes, there
so
is.
what's that last line mean? Is not an alien force already?
See, they've actually, I remember Bill, fuck, I can't remember his name, but I brought him up before.
Rome?
Yeah. And he started talking about how there's at bases at
Bill Burns.
no.
Anyways, go ahead. There's bases.
Right. Bill something. And there's bases with levels underneath them where there's actually aliens working. And he got in a firefight with one. Remember
Yeah,
I told you that?
And I'm forgetting the guy's name too. But he allegedly committed suicide.
Right. No, that was a cop fight in front of his house, shooting because he was talking shit.
Right.
Like a conspiracy theorist would. So they came after him, and there's a whole video on that on YouTube. I can't fucking remember his name right now.
He was in one of the videos that I watched too.
Like he was one of the first whistleblowers.
He showed his fingers all blown off, and he said
Because he got shot in the laser.
Took his shirt off, and he's a big fat dude, so takes his shirt off, and he's got all this big line.
Yeah. Because he got shot by aliens.
Yeah, because he got
lasers.
blasted by aliens, and his life was saved by some Green Beret that went down there with him or something
But
like
got
that.
killed, dude, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
The Green Beret did.
Yeah.
Damn, what's his fucking name? But shit. But there was also a guy working with them that they look like us. They just remember how they got different teeth or whatever. Was David? What's his face was talking about that? Wilcock was talking about that. Yeah, they're around us. They look like us.
So do you buy that conspiracy at all, that there's aliens working hand in hand?
Yeah, I think so. They actually have interviews with aliens that look like aliens, but you don't know if it's a real video or if it was pretend or faked.
Well, see, there was one that I like, come on, this is so fake. And it was this lady that allegedly could mind link with some aliens. I'm forgetting what the aliens were called.
Oh, okay.
And the aliens would speak through her.
Palladians,
something like that. But so they're like, okay, well, she's going to talk to him now. She's like, acting like she's getting in a trance. And then she just starts talking. It's her voice, and it's just like echoed. We're the Palladians. We're doing it. Like, you just added that in post-production. Come on.
It's supposed to be live.
So the aliens can make a human's voice echo. That's quite a power that they got. So
They do got powers. It's crazy.
but there's one that we won't bring up this time because I know we sort of skimmed the moon landing before. But another one I want to bring up on a later episode when we deep dive into the moon.
I guess they just 4 different countries shot rockets to Mars the other day. Same day.
China, Russia, the U.S.
I don't know who exactly it was. I know U.S. did it.
India. I don't know.
Aren't they the only ones that got fucking rockets?
I mean, you see all those Japanese Godzilla movies. They always have this great space program. Maybe they did too.
They also got giant lizards that come out of the fucking ocean. Right.
So what else have you seen and watched lately?
Well, there was also some explosions, like the same day as the Lebanon explosion. That was just amazing to watch. Maybe we'll put that video on. I just can't get a signal right now. Like it was August 3rd, and Wuhan, China had an explosion, which was 6 deaths for a chemical explosion, which 6 deaths ain't bad. I mean, that sucks. They have 1 death, but so Wuhan, then that same day, North Korea had an explosion. Then the next day, same within 24 hours, August 4th, St. Paul, Minnesota had an intentionally set fire, probably by BLM or whatever, which cost $470 million supposedly to fix all that.
Wow.
Then France had one, had a forest fire, and Lebanon, obviously, on August 4th. They said it was the most powerful nuclear explosion that wasn't, or most powerful explosion that wasn't a nuclear explosion. They said it was fucking fireworks and some.
I'm sure if you got all those fireworks to blow up, that it would be quite.
That was quite a fucking explosion.
So, like what, Tunguska or whatever in Russia, they had that. Some people say it was an explosion.
Yeah, Iraq had one. The United Arab Emirates had one. Maryland had one on August 6th. And you say Russia had one too?
Well, Tunguska was in like 1913.
Oh,
And it like wiped out 3/4 of the Ukraine's forest.
wow. What kind of explosion was that?
Well, they say it was an asteroid collision, but the conspiracy people say it was some kind of either alien explosion or they were building some kind of thing they shouldn't be building.
All right. Wow. Because nuclear bombs weren't around then, right? Like around 40.
No, it wasn't until the World War II.
Like 1940s, 50s?
Right. So what do you think about that explosion in Beirut?
It's amazing. And then they come out with a peace talks right afterwards, and they say it, not to bring his name up all the time, but Trump. It's because of Trump that they got made a peace treaty.
It was all set up.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, that was a hell of an explosion.
That
I'm
was
sure
crazy.
everybody has probably seen that video by now. And
Slow motion, it's fucking unreal.
well, I think it's interesting. I was telling one of my coworkers because you had everyone has security cameras now.
Right.
So all these people in Beirut are submitting the explosions, and there was this lady and her daughter, and the lady's vacuuming, thinking nothing about it.
And all the windows.
And when the explosion happens, like you would think it's like if something exploded right now, you and I would pause, like, what the hell?
Bullshit, I'd be running.
Yeah, but after a split second, you'd be like, huh?
Right.
And then run. But this woman, as soon as it's like started blowing in her windows, like, I mean, immediate. So they're so used to that over there.
Right,
She grabbed her kid and started running. Where if like you and I were here and there was a kid here, we'd be like, huh? And then grab the kid.
Right. What is it called when a bomb blows up and then it's aftermath.
It's like the aftershock or something.
Yeah, aftershock. You're right. That was crazy. It actually made 300,000 people homeless that day, which is probably not good for Lebanon.
No, probably not.
They were going through some shit, I guess, anyways.
I mean, they've been going through shit for 2,000 years.
It's fucking crazy.
I just think, I don't know if there's a conspiracy to that, but why would you have all that fertilizer
Right?
just sitting there for however long, knowing how volatile it is? And then
It's amazing that shit can fucking explode that much. That kind of shit.
Well, back in my golf course days, my boss was always so anal about everything, but like when we got our fertilizer shipments in there, he's like, and if we'd go park the greens mowers and stuff, don't get it too close to that, because if that muffler hits,
Really?
come on.
Does it have a flammable fucking thing on them?
Huh?
On fertilizer bags?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be anything like that.
Well,
but
right. Unless you have it sitting for fucking, I guess that was sitting there for fucking 20 years or something, wasn't it?
yeah, that's what I thought was weird. It's like, why would that just be sitting there?
Right.
I mean, you're at the ocean. If you want to get rid of it, just dump it into the water.
Yeah.
I'm sure more stuff's going to come out with
Right.
that as time goes on. But
It's just weird that all these different things happen at the same day. And
I did want to bring one thing up that I noticed somebody said on Facebook that you're going to take issue with, but they didn't really. They were the opposite of because I know you like all the QAnon stuff.
oh, yeah.
And I wish I could remember what the guy's quote was, but it's basically thinking QAnon was just somebody making everything up
They're pretty good at it.
and everybody buying what he's selling, I guess. So,
Yeah, I don't think he's selling anything. I don't think he's making any money. Or they. Who is this cat that said something? Do you know? Do you remember?
his name is Chris.
Okay. Chris, if you do your research, you might understand a little bit more what's going on.
You might.
Well, he's obviously not doing his research,
What if he's researching and finding the opposite of you?
and he's on the wrong team. It's crazy how big this election is going to be. This is between good and evil, like literally, Dan.
Yeah, but that could be good and evil on both sides.
That's who depends on who.
That's the
thinks of it,
problem
right?
with good and evil. Is there's always.
Do you really think that fucking Kamala Harris and Biden have a chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had this discussion. You think that Trump's going to win in a landslide? And
Probably. Dude, I drove here just now. There's about fucking 50 houses with Trump signs all over. That's fucking the greatest thing ever. Because people, there's a poll where it said, do you have somebody you know that supports Donald Trump, but they don't talk about it? And it was like fucking 60% of people. So it's like the silent majority of people want this. That's what they're trying to do, is trying to wake people up, obviously, and it's starting to happen to the Democrats' bullshit, what they're trying to do. And they want this new world order, and it's fucking sickening. But who's to say that after Trump's done, even if he doesn't get, or if he does win the next one, that what's going to happen after that? You know, is it going to go back to the fucking Democrats, and then it's just going to be new world order all of again?
that's the way the elections have always been. It's always cyclical.
It is cyclical.
You go
It's great.
Republicans, you go Democrats.
And they're all the same thing normally.
I know you disagree. You don't think Trump is
Not this time, I don't. I mean, I disagree, yes, but this time is different. It's weird because people have been asking for years, like I said before, that when are you going to be president? You know, and he'd come out and he's like, I don't really want to be president, but if it happens to be where we need it, then I will. And this was fucking in the 80s or 90s when he said this. And I wish I had the link to it, but I don't.
Well, if you find it, we can post it on our
Right.
on the video or audio. And you'll have to let us know what you think of the video version of this podcast. We know you can listen on audio, and if you want to watch Brian, you can just block me out. But
All right.
while we're talking about it, if you notice Brian's shirt there, let's see if I can do a little bit of. It's our new Conspiracy Beerus podcast shirts, and Brian showing off his guns.
Yeah.
What we're going to do probably on the next episode is we're going to figure out a way to give a few of these away to listeners. So we haven't really talked about how, but
All right.
we'll either say, you know, pick out something during a podcast, like we were talking about this, what did Brian say, blah blah, something simple.
All right.
And then if you contact us on social media and are the first person or whatever, we'll figure something out. But anyways, we're going to have some Conspiracy Beer shirts to give away to everybody out there.
It'd be great to get you guys involved and see what you guys are trying to get, like conspiracies that you believe in, or
Yeah, so just let us know on Facebook at Conspiracy Beerist, or if you so want to email us, it's conspiracybeerist911
oh,
at gmail.com.
nice.
Did I say .com?
Yeah, I think you did.
Well, that's because Brian has a date, so. Or I should say that like Shatner, Conspiracy Beerist 911.
Did you watch the William Shatner roast a long time ago?
The one where Takei just ripped him
Yeah.
apart. Yeah.
Someone said that Betty, what's her fucking name?
Betty White.
Betty White nearly shat in her pants.
That
That's fucking great.
was Greg Giraldo.
Oh, he's good too.
He was.
Rest his soul. Probably said something about the fucking government.
So what are there any conspiracies you think we should look up and talk about next time or anything?
There's still stuff going on with that Wayfair thing, even though it's been debunked, some other shit like we said. But waif means homeless person, normally child, and fair means the purchasing of a fucking thing. So it's Wayfair, which is crazy. And then Ellen's she was actually selling stuff on there on Wayfair for crazy amount of money.
Yeah, because she needs money.
Right. And then so she's getting canceled. There's some crazy videos with her having this red picture like of when Tom Hanks was in that movie where he was on the island and he had the Wilson.
Right.
There's a picture
Castaway.
of Wilson. Yeah, Castaway. Picture of Wilson on her shirt. And it's got A written down like, ah. And supposedly people think that is from Frazzle Drip, which is a thing that came off Anthony Weiner's laptop that they don't want to show yet, which is her and Huma Abedin torturing a child. And that's her face.
Oh, that's
Crazy.
interesting.
And that's her screaming, ah. And then people are thinking Huma Abedin looks just like AOC.
They do kind of look a little bit alike.
It's crazy. There's a conspiracy in itself. But Anthony Weiner's laptop, there was 9 out of 12 cops that seen it, which I don't understand how they see it and they can't just arrest these people. There's fucking Hillary. So then 9 out of 12 of them committed suicide already that have seen it.
Right. The cops, you mean.
Yeah. It's not New York City police.
There's a problem with social media. You probably heard about the one that blew up around here this week. Or maybe you didn't.
No, probably not.
Somebody like the Flint Scanner Facebook page, somebody posted that there was a big bust for child abduction in Flint.
Really?
And it blew up and everybody was sharing it. And the Flint police came up. I'm like, no, that's not why we were at this
Oh, really?
property. It was a domestic.
Well, you
And,
can't always believe what you hear, and you can't believe always what you see, except on here, on our podcast. You can believe
Do
everything.
your research,
Do
right?
your research, right?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that they had it on the news, which they did, because I know your opinion about mainstream media, but I not only heard it on there, one of my day job stops is not just where you work, but I also do the Flint Police Department.
Oh, really?
And I actually mentioned it to the desk sergeant. He's like, man, he goes, no, I just
Rumor.
social media people blew it up, and one person posted it and someone else ran with it. He goes, we were there for a domestic call, and that was all it was.
Well, I did hear.
So that's the bad part about social media. So I'm just saying, people
Yeah, for
don't
sure.
verify, don't do your research.
Do your research, right?
They just see it and blow it up. So
I had a friend that used to date some gangsters, some African American gangsters in Flint, and supposedly, no, no, oh, I guess she's a friend.
she was dating Dave. Oh, sorry, Dave.
Dave Earhart. Oh my God! Warm glass of water.
Anyways, you had a friend that was dating
And
somebody in a
some,
gang.
some gangsters in Flint, which are black gangsters that were actually recruited by the fire department in Flint. This is what I heard. And they would have the younger guys, the boys, which they didn't have a chance to get out of Flint or whatever, for their life. So the boys would get money for having sex with prostitutes in front of these fire department people. And they could do whatever they wanted, I guess, just like regular shit. But I mean, just like what you're saying, the police probably would say, that's just a rumor, because they don't want this shit to come out. And it's craziness, all that. The shit is hidden, but it's in your face. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can ask, how long ago was this?
This could have been 7-8 years ago.
Oh.
But
I actually work with somebody that his dad is a Flint fire person.
Oh, really?
So I can ask him.
yeah.
Actually, he listens to this podcast.
Oh, shit.
Our buddy Rourke that you've talked to before. Well,
I've talked to him?
you've answered his
Oh,
questions.
buddy. That's right.
So anyways.
But he might not know neither. But he might know. Maybe he's waiting for us to talk about it so he can fucking ace one of us.
Yeah. Rourke, you gonna ace us? I don't know. Anyway.
His name Buddy, right? Is that what you said?
Rourke.
Oh. What's it?
Hey, buddy.
I thought you said his name was Buddy.
I mean, it could be.
It is
one
now.
One of the things that when I was training him, he was he's like, just don't call me kid or sport or anything like
Chief.
that. Yeah. So that's exactly what I started doing. I was like, okay, Chief, whatever you
Yeah.
say.
Right. Boss. That's awesome.
So you got your 5 seconds of fame there, Rourke. We just talked about you here on the
Yeah,
podcast.
5 seconds of fame.
Here on Conspiracy Mirrors, baby.
I'd like you to call in one time and tell us about that little conspiracy
I think
you guys got
definitely
going
would.
there.
So
Then I actually met up with a young African American guy probably 2 years ago. Started talking to him, and he was 24, I think. He said he's been getting Social Security since he was 4 years old for lead in his blood. So that was 20 years ago, a couple years ago.
right.
So this shit's been going on, the lead thing, been going on for a long fucking time. And they just came out with it a couple years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
I mean, that's one thing I have issue with. Is everyone ripped on who was the previous governor? I'm forgetting his name now.
From Michigan?
Yeah. The one that's taking all the shit for the lead,
I don't remember his name
the
either.
nerd guy. And
I don't really pay attention to Michigan politics.
anyways,
Whitmer.
everyone, don't say Whitmer, but everyone blames him for the Flint thing, but
It was before him, way before
it
him.
was he's part of the problem,
Right.
granted, but the dude before him was just as guilty too. And then what was the mayor, Walling or whatever, of Flint at the time, he just skated away
And he was a
scot-free.
black guy too, right?
No, he's a white dude.
Oh,
And nobody ever says anything about him.
now I wonder why there wasn't really. Was there protests in Flint, like BLM and all that?
Oh yeah,
Was there?
it was all peaceful.
But and peaceful, right?
Right.
That's sweet. Supposedly the second to third biggest murder population in the world, or whatever,
Oh, in the country, yeah.
in the country.
Yeah.
Right. Now they're not.
It's because we're getting better.
We are getting rid of the lead.
We're becoming
It's the
one.
lead for sure.
Yeah, it's a lead-free environment.
Get the
So,
lead out.
oh, too soon. So what? Other than that, is there any other things you want to talk about? Because I do one time want to talk more about the moon landing and stuff.
Okay, we can talk about that.
And because there was another video that I watched that I thought was interesting that had an alien connection to it. But one question I wanted to ask you is, one of our first podcasts, we talked about the California wildfires from last year. Currently, there's another huge wildfire going on in California. Have you seen anything? Or
I really haven't.
you're waiting for David Wilcock to come out and tell you the aliens
Waiting
are.
for him to text me. But there's people. There's like a what's it called when people leave the state? Exodus.
Right, mass exodus.
Mass exodus. There's a shit ton of people that are leaving California because of all the bullshit. People homeless. Like there's million dollar houses where they got to walk out and dodge fucking syringes and people's duties all over the fucking ground.
I don't understand why people would build those big ass houses on those like cliffs and stuff.
Right.
Because it's going to erode.
You only got so much time.
So I mean, that even happens here in Michigan on Lake Michigan and Lake Huron. People build these nice houses and you get all that wind and sand and shit, and it was like, you dumbass.
Fucking crazy.
I'll just stay here living in the sticks and just be happy with it.
I got a swamp in the backyard.
Yeah, I do have a swamp. I have a swamp almost all the way around me. And then you live in the ghetto of Fenton, so.
But yeah, and then you were talking about the moon landing. I had another meme I was gonna send you, and it's the little spaceship they had that they landed on the moon, and it was fucking shooting up off the moon. But there's a picture taken, and they're like, "Who took this fucking picture?" I think we talked about it before, but
Yeah, because they left all kinds of shit up there. So.
right.
Yeah.
But they're supposedly building a fucking thing on Mars now, so.
Well, there was one thing I'm going to bring up next time, so you can kind of deep dive into it. During that first moon landing, there was a 2-minute span where everything just cut
Blocked
out.
off, right?
Right. So the conspiracy people are saying, that's where they were saying they're seeing the aliens and stuff. And
Yeah, supposedly there was a bunch of spaceships that pulled up over a crater or something that was looking at them. And that's why they haven't gone back in fucking 40 years. 30
I do
years.
think that's weird that they haven't gone back since the mid 70s.
That is very weird.
Especially if
Technology's gotten so much better, obviously.
Yeah.
Now we're jumping on Russia's fucking rockets to go to the moon. But fucking Enoch or Elon Musk.
Enoch.
He can fly a shit there no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering if it's going to happen with him and Bezos are going to.
Well, the NASA sign, I don't know if you got it around here, but there's a snake tongue that goes through it. Have you seen that? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't, but.
If you have a NASA
I
thing,
don't think I do, but.
there's a snake tongue that goes.
So look up
Heard of
NASA on the NASA logo on Google.
NASA logo. And there'll be a snake tongue, which means like
Gene Simmons or.
yeah, kiss and but like Adam and Eve, where the fucking serpent tempts them
right
to do it, and then NASA hasn't gone back, so they're like telling us this is fucking bullshit. And it's not that I don't believe that they went to the moon. I just don't believe what they say about anything to that effect, to where we cannot know about it and it could be secret. You know what I mean? There's all too many secrets.
I don't argue with you that there's secrets, that there's shit that we will never know, that
All right.
we probably should. But anyways, anything else you want to cover before you wrap shop? I know you got a hot date to go on and close the deal.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's good that we can talk about this kind of stuff so far, because eventually this freedom of speech thing looks like it's going away.
I don't think it will. I mean, this has come up before, so.
Right. But they're getting closer and closer to what they want, which is us not being able to talk to people.
What wasn't it a 3 years ago that everyone was panicking that they're going to shut down the internet, and because of something, forgetting what it was.
Oh, and then they were going to change it to where you get checked if you swear or whatever.
Right. And that didn't happen. So.
Right. It's like the 2K thing, Y2K. Little rumor that computers wouldn't bring it up.
That was one of the, that was one funny thing. I went to a comedy show the day, like January 1st, 2000. And this dude walks out with like 6 jugs of water. He goes, well, I guess I don't need these. I'll be selling these backstage.
I was in Vegas, actually, in January 2001, the first, or 2000, I mean.
Yeah.
Crazy world.
Yeah, my Millennium Night was, me and the girl I was dating went to see Metallica, Kid Rock, and Ted Nugent.
Damn.
And then the next day, went to see Dennis Miller and some other comedian.
Sweet.
Now I don't do shit like that. Now I just come here and do this.
Right. Watch it on YouTube.
I have no life.
Safer.
So,
here's another thing. When the Las Vegas shooting happened, remember that, right? Well, the first interview that the security guard, his name was Jesus something or Jesus something. The first interview he actually had, where they couldn't find him he wouldn't talk to the police for like a week or something after that. After he shot Stephen Paddock, the shooter.
Right.
Then he gets on Ellen for the first interview, which is fucking what? Why did she get the first interview? And then she's got this fucking diagram of what happened, and she's putting a fucking pointer on it and trying to show what happened. Like, this Jesus guy don't know what happened. He doesn't need to be told this. And then he had like a guy with him, which was, people are saying, his controller or the person that actually tells him what to say and
his
all this.
handler. Right.
Not Chelsea neither. Skank.
Oh, you would.
No.
Anyways, go ahead.
Bad news. So then she gets the first thing, and that evil bitch, Ellen. So she's trying to tell the people that watch her show what exactly happened, instead of Jesus trying to tell them what happened. So it's crazy.
So you think it was all
Lies.
scripted?
Yes. I think there's a lot to it. I don't know why they even had it happen. But that Jason Aldean, he didn't have a tattoo of Las Vegas on his arm till after, I guess. And it had all the fucking...
He was the concert, right?
Right.
Okay.
And he didn't know it was going to happen.
I mean, I don't...
supposedly.
You know me, I don't know the first thing about country other than an occasional name. So.
Not till back in the old days, 90s, 1900s.
Oh, yeah. Vince Gill and George Strait and
Clint.
about it.
Clint
Black. And the lights are on. Anyways.
That was beautiful.
So, one thing we've been asked is to supply some links to what we talk about. So, in the podcast or in the comment section or the description of the podcast, we'll post some links to some of the stuff that we talked about, so people can maybe do their research too.
It'd be great.
And like I said, next time we'll figure out a way for some of you to possibly win one of the cool Conspiracy Beer shirts that Brian is so handsomely
Handsome.
showing off. So that being said, thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have a topic that you'd like us to talk about, let us know on Facebook at Conspiracy Bears. And just leads us to say one other thing. Don't take our word for it.
Do your research. Later.
Ryan and I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to subscribe either wherever it is you listen to the podcast or on YouTube. And if you have a suggestion of a conspiracy you'd like us to talk about, let us know on Facebook or YouTube at Conspiracy Bears. And until next time, remember, the truth is out there. You just have to know where to look.
WLLP Spock Rock Radio.